Hello YouTube and welcome to another part 0 video accompanying our one more marathon, just another Deity marathon for all you kids and kiddos out there. Today we're talking about English Eleanor, who is a weird mixture of two civs that don't really feel like they belong together, but you can still kind of do it if you really feel like it. At first glance and at first like sort of stratagem onset, she kind of feels just like worse Dido. I think the Royal Navy Dockyard is a little bit worse than the Cothone. Her other abilities just kind of don't play in quite as well. But there are some cool things you can do with it, and a lot of them are under England's portion of the world. So let's get started. Court of Love is the thing that feels really, really weird on her. This is a loyalty flipping mechanic that pairs somewhat well with French Eleanor. And just kind of feels awkward for us. So what does it do? Great works in Eleanor cities. Each cause -1 loyalty per turn in foreign cities within 9 tiles. A city that leaves another civilization due to loss of loyalty and is currently receiving the most loyalty per turn towards Eleanor's civilization skips the free city steps and joins the civilization. So instead of loyalty flipping to neutral and then to your city, you get to skip that whole neutral part and just absorb the city into our empire. It's a really cool and really powerful ability. It requires you to play heroes or void or just go massive tourism theater square great work type thing. And it just doesn't really pair well with the rest of the kit, but is on its own a very powerful ability. If you can pull this off and get any amount of free cities, that's amazing and awesome and just helps you win the game that much faster. So just kind of a weird one. We'll go through the rest of this too. This is basically England's kit. We'll talk about it. Workshop of the World has changed a lot over the years and is in a pretty powerful place. Each individual part of this, kind of like when we were talking about Dido, doesn't add up to a lot, but the sum total of Workshop of the World, it creates a powerful ability. So iron and coal mines accumulate 2 more resources than usual. So that's early wars. That's your classic swordsman war or using knights and stuff like that. Coal is a little weird. You kind of just want to power industrial zones with coal, generally speaking. So you can use it to sell is a thing that you can do with it. You can accumulate more of those resources and just sell them to the AIs. It's a fine thing to do with it, or you can use them for your own purposes. 100% extra production towards military engineers. Military engineers receive +2 charges. So that's, again, like military engineers aren't usually crazy, like go out of your way for, but the fact that you produce them super quickly here and then you get some extra charges means that you can do that much more with them. So it's, you need an encampment to do it because military engineers come from encampments. So there's a lot of like hoops that you have to jump through to kind of make all these things work together. But when you get them humming, it's pretty decent. Buildings that provide additional yields when powered receive +4 of that yield. What does that mean? That means your industrial and later buildings, right? So your research labs, your broadcast towers, etc. Any of those that get extra yield from being powered get 4 more of that yield from power, which pairs well with policy cards and can just be powerful on its own. You do need to power them, so you need to figure out some way to power your empire. Industrial zones are a natural fit, of course, but also, you can use wind farms, you can use anything you like. In addition to that, we get 20% production towards industrial zone buildings. For those of you who know my beefs with industrial zones, part of my issue is that the buildings are so freaking expensive, and getting some extra production towards them does help mitigate that feels badness of them. And then on top of that, harbor buildings increase strategic resource stockpiles by 10 on standard speed. So what you can do with that is ideally Workshop of the World takes you into space. There are very few, there aren't that many victory types in general, but the victory type that wants powered buildings the most is a space race. The victory type that wants industrial zones the most is a space race. And then the victory type that wants strategic stockpiles most is a space race. So all of this kind of puts you in we want to establish a bunch of cities and then go to space. So it's like a weird pairing with Court of Love. Like none of this really makes all that much sense. But basically with English Eleanor, you want to pick the thing you want to lean into and just have at it. It's never going to feel amazing, but it's probably not going to feel all that bad either. We get the Sea Dog, which is a replacement for the Privateer. Has a chance to capture defeated enemy units. Can only be seen by naval raiders unless you're adjacent to it. And reveals naval raiders within a sight range. It is a largely skippable unique unit. This just isn't that great. The AI isn't amazing at naval combat, so the idea that you're going to steal a bunch of ships from this is not really going to come to fruition. And yeah, build it for era score, but other than that, it's pretty forgettable. The Royal Navy Dockyard, as I mentioned, is kind of a worse Kothone, but it is still a unique harbor, and any unique district is good. Harbors are good, so the Royal Navy Dockyard winds up being pretty good. Removes the movement penalty for embarking and disembarking. 1 movement to all naval units built within the dockyard. 2 gold and 4 loyalty per turn when built on a foreign continent. This just doesn't do that much, right? Like, in terms of unique districts, it's a little, like, cool, right? And it pairs weirdly with Workshop of the World and all the rest of it. So just a weird all over the place kind of a civ, but you can still have a lot of fun here. I suggest leaning into Workshop of the World and trying to do space race stuff. I think this is England's best ability. Certainly getting harbors and having coastal cities is fine. And then getting extra strategic stockpiles there is also fine. So can be a fun civ, although just kind of incongruous, I guess is the word I would use. So have fun. Let me know what you think. How did I miss something with English Eleanor? Am I missing a play path that screams to you as useful and good? Let me know in the comments below, and thank you for watching.